Hi, this is Teresa Harding. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you because I know that if you registered for this class, it's because you either need answers and support or there's someone you really care about who you're trying to help. And essential oils for mood can be incredibly helpful for you. But before we begin, I want to go through the disclaimer. I want to make sure you know that this information is for educational purposes only, and it shouldn't be used as a substitute for advice from your own healthcare professional. And something I want to add to that, the FDA doesn't allow us to use the actual titles of mental illness or mood disorders in conjunction with essential oils because the oils are not a drug. So while we're doing this class today, unless I'm talking about my personal story or experiences, you're not going to hear me use words like depression, anxiety, ADHD, things like that, because we want to be compliant. Also, when you comment on the side, if you could try your best to do the same thing. So for example, instead of anxiety, which is a recognized medical condition, you could say anxious feelings. Instead of depression, you could say sad feelings or deep sadness, that kind of thing. So let's get going. Now, I want to encourage you to take some time for yourself right now. You're here with me for a reason, so take this time you need, turn everything off that's operating in the background, any email systems, Skype, iTunes, or any extra programs. Silence your phone, close your door, and give yourself this time to discover some new strategies. What you'll learn in this webinar is truly a game changer. So get the workbook that I sent you that we had you print off, grab a pen, because I'm going to be giving you some very specific oils to help support your individual mood and emotional concerns. You're going to hear me list the oils you'll want to use and the recipes I would recommend. I want you to think for just a second. What are some of your frustrations with modern healthcare today? As someone myself who's needed some very serious answers about my health, I know that it can be so frustrating. This can be a very private and personal thing, but I'm going to ask you questions that I want you to be very real and raw with yourself. It might even get a little emotional for you, but it's very important that you're honest about why you are here. Do you need help with mood and emotional support and you're not finding the answers you need? Are you not even sure there's anything out there that can help you? Are you worried about the side effects of what you're already doing? Or are you just plain financially stretched and feel like you can't afford the things you've been told will help you? Are you afraid your mood concerns are going to hurt your relationships with the people you love? Or maybe that you won't be able to provide for yourself or take care of your family the way you want to? Do you really hope you can find some additional natural resources to help you, but you just don't know where to turn or who to believe? Or honestly, are you just sick and tired of it all? If any of these are you, then you are in the right place. Because in this webinar, I'm going to teach you about essential oils and how they work with your brain. I'm going to help you understand why people are falling in love with them. And I'm going to show you how to use them as a powerful support for every one of the mood or emotional concerns that have created these frustrations and worries for you. And by the time we're done, you'll know exactly which essential oils to use for the specific mood concerns you have. You might be wondering, what does she know? Why listen to her? And let's be honest, there are lots of voices out there vying for your attention. So why listen to me? I am doing this because now I feel like it's my turn to give back. I've already created a 7-figure income for myself, and I only tell you that because I want you to understand that I don't need to do this. I do this because it's my turn to help people get power back in their lives. Through years of experience, I know how to do it, and I know how to show you how to do it in the most frugal and powerful way possible. We're also going to have a fast action bonus, which I'm super excited about. We worked really hard to figure out what might be most helpful for you, and I think you're really going to love it. And I'll show you what that's all about later in the webinar, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to learn. You are going to learn about all the things you see on this slide: anxiousness, panic, feelings of deep sadness. You might struggle with attention or focus. And by the time we're done, you'll have the tools that will make a difference for you. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to get my ebook full of recipes, blends for moods and for emotional support. And I'm going to give you that for free, just for staying to the end. And after we dive into the brain a little bit today, you may end up being interested in learning more about your brain. And I would recommend a book called Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. It's by Daniel Amen, and it is the most amazing book I have ever read on the brain, and it's not too technical. So I think that you might appreciate it. I am really excited that you're on this webinar because there's a good chance you'll find solutions to some of what you're dealing with. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Teresa Harding, and this is my family. There's Roger in the middle. He's the tall one. I'm on his right. And no, I'm not tall. I am not short either, but Roger is just really, really, really tall. So I have 3 boys, and they gave me 3 girls when they got married, and I have 3 grandchildren. It is the best being a grandma. And the youngest one wasn't born yet for this picture. But our whole family has been able to support our health in some unbelievable ways using the oils, including serious respiratory issues, chronic migraines, depression, a colicky baby, and on, and most recently, cancer. And the support we have discovered through essential oils has truly been amazing. So I want to tell you a little bit about why I got involved. I have a little niece, Lacey, and she was 2 at the time. She started having some pretty serious problems with her nervous system. She was having shaking episodes. And basically, the essential oils brought some amazing support that I could not deny. And I started researching essential oils. I could not believe what it did to help her. And I lived there near them, so I could see what was happening. And I was really shocked to find that there's legitimate medical research on essential oils. And I started learning some of the science behind why the oils supported Lacey's nervous system in such a powerful way. And through that process, I became obsessed with the essential oils. I learned about them. I used them for myself and my family. I started teaching about them. My job became helping people with essential oils. It was awesome. Over the years, it got to the point where I was being invited to teach all over the world about health and about essential oils. My life was exciting. It was fun. And I really, really loved it. But then I was blindsided with a serious encounter with depression myself. Because as my success grew, I became busier and busier. I became the go-to person for leaders on my team. I was needed and wanted, and I felt a responsibility to them. I was loving helping people to empower their lives, and I was traveling all over the world, but I started taking too much of that responsibility on my own shoulders. I tried to carry too much of everything, and before I knew it, one day I realized that my despondency had turned to depression. And then it became very severe. And I did not know how to handle it because I had never dealt with this before. And psychology is my background, you guys. I thought I would have known better. But you all know that's not how it works, right? I didn't want to bother anyone because I didn't want them to know about my problems. And other people had real problems. I tried to pretend like I was okay, but I kept slipping deeper and deeper until I couldn't give anymore. Actually, at first I didn't want to give, and then I had nothing left, and I couldn't give. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning, and my husband was getting very scared because he had never, ever seen me like this before. And nobody knew because I got so good at hiding it. And it got to a point where I remember feeling that if I slip any deeper, I don't know if I can come back. And you'd think that would have scared me, but I almost couldn't even care, even though I knew I should. And I've actually never shared that story publicly like this because it's so private and so personal. But I decided as I was creating this training that if I'm really serious about helping people with mood support, then I better be ready to get real vulnerable because you guys are dealing with your stuff too. So I seriously could not believe the support the essential oils provided for me during that time. And I'm very grateful. So you can see why I get all passionate about this topic and why it's so close to my heart. And it's because I will never, ever forget what that time felt like. So a little bit about my background. I've been involved in health and nutrition for over 20 years, and I've been teaching and training on essential oils and health for the last 9. And with the help of my husband and a lot of amazing staff, I have built, and leaders, by the way, I have built a team of over 2 million people who I train and support in the use of essential oils. So I just want to show you that these are some of the sites that I am author publisher of. You can go to teresaharding.com and check it out. I love doing what I do because I not only get to help people really change their lives, but I get to empower them to take charge of themselves. And that, for me, is very fulfilling. So, what are essential oils? They are liquid extracts from plants. They're compounds that are naturally found in the oils, and each essential oil has anywhere between 50 to over 200 compounds. And those compounds are the same compounds that are found in our medicines. They're just in their natural form in essential oils, so you don't get the side effects. They're just another tool that we can use to support our health. And they're not just for physical health. They're oils that are amazing for skincare. Oh my goodness, Immortelle is a blend I use for wrinkles. And let's be honest, bags under my eyes. The oils are great for house cleaning. You can use them on pets. In this picture, you can see the little sacks of essential oils. This is a peppermint leaf that is magnified thousands of times. And that little sack is filled with essential oils. That's why when you rub a plant, your fingers will smell like the plant. You're popping those little sacks. So the oils are very potent. Research shows that 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. There are 3 different ways you can use the oils, and you'll want to write these down because it will be your go-to whenever you're needing the oils. You can use them topically, internally, and by diffusing them. And first, we're going to talk about topically. And this is one of the reasons they're so popular. It's because they're so easy to use. You can just rub it right on your skin. So for topical use, I'm going to take a little more time to teach you how to do it because for emotional support, this is the way you'll probably be using it most of the time. And I'm going to have a few key tips in this section that will really help you. So in this section particularly, have your pen and paper ready. Now, when you're using essential oils, a normal dose is about 2 to 3 drops. And when you use essential oils topically, you can apply it to your feet or right on the area where you need support. So for example, if your stomach is upset or you're experiencing a disruption in your digestive system, you just take 2 to 3 drops and apply it right to your stomach. There are a few oils that are considered hot, which means if you put it on your skin, it would get uncomfortable because it feels hot. So I'll tell you which ones those are, and they're not too difficult to remember. There are 2 categories. One is oregano. Oregano is its own category. And the second is the cinnamon family, which is cinnamon, cassia, and clove. And you can also add a few drops of what's called a carrier oil, which soothes it. It makes it feel like it's diluted, but it doesn't actually dilute. It just makes it really easy to rub on your skin. You can always apply the oils to the bottoms of your feet with no discomfort. So if you're not sure where to put them on the bottoms of your feet, even the hot oils. So it's really good to know. And the reason people apply the oils to the bottoms of the feet is because studies have shown that the bottoms of your feet have the largest pores in your body. So the essential oils absorb very quickly there. And the research also shows that the essential oils get into the bloodstream. It starts to circulate through your body in about 30 seconds. So let me show you an example of what that looks like because it's very powerful. This is a picture I took from a live video that I have of a blood sample. The blood sample was actually taken from a friend of mine who is very healthy, but he had just gotten back from traveling internationally. He'd been eating travel food. He was exhausted, so not feeling really great. But I want you to notice how the red blood cells are stuck together. They kind of look like gummy worms. And in the live video, you can see that they're really sluggish. They're moving really slowly, and some of them seem to be hardly moving at all. What they're supposed to look like is they're supposed to be separate, and they're supposed to be moving quickly. And remember, the red blood cells carry oxygen and nutrients through your body, among other things. Those blood cells need to get where they're going. And remember how the research shows that it takes 30 seconds for the essential oil to get into your bloodstream? Well, my friend, who is a doctor, this is why he likes to know these things, was testing this out. So he went to an independent lab and he had them take a sample of his blood. And that's what this slide is from. And then he took an essential oil called Balance. That's a blend that helps support a balanced body system. And he put 1 drop on the bottom of 1 foot. And they waited 30 seconds. And then they took another blood sample and let me show you what it looked like. Look at that. And in the live video, the red blood cells are moving much more quickly. The essential oils are proven to help support our bodies. This is with one drop, and that's topically. Did you know that there are areas of the body, like your fingers, for example, where it's so small that only one blood cell can pass through at a time? So can you imagine the domino effect that can happen if one thing in your body is not working properly because you didn't eat well that day or because you didn't get enough sleep? And this is just looking at what essential oils do for the blood. Think about what they can do for the brain. So what does this mean? It means that we can eat whatever we want and then just use balanced essential oil. I'm just kidding. I will never admit I said that. But I do want you to understand that when I show you the oils and I say that they can help with mood and emotional support, now you get that this is a very real support. And now you can see why there's such a big fuss about essential oils. Okay, one last thing about topically. I want to teach you an easy way to make a blend for yourself as you're figuring out which oils work best for what you need. Just put 20 drops of the essential oil into a roller bottle until it's full. And if you're using different oils, put 20 drops of each till the bottle's full. Then you've got a powerful natural support, and it's customized to you because you combined whatever oils you want. So if you put the essential oils in your roller bottle and you want to top it off with fractionated coconut oil, that's okay for everyday use, but for serious mood support, just make sure that your blend is mostly essential oils so you aren't diluting it down. I want you to get the full support you need. And as we get near the end, I'm going to tell you more about where you can get all this stuff, the roller bottles, the spray bottles. I'll show you the cheapest places I have found. So the second way you can use the essential oils is with a diffuser. It diffuses into the air and you breathe it in. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, oh, brother, what? You just smell it and it's supposed to help you. But I got humbled as I researched and was reminded that when you breathe something through your nose, it doesn't have to pass through the blood-brain barrier. It bypasses that. So it's actually one of the most effective ways you can use the oils. And using it this way, as you can imagine, is extremely good for mood support. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about how the oils reach your brain. High up inside your nose, you have a small patch of tissue, which are sensory neurons. And each one of these has an odor receptor on it. And when you smell something, the neurons detect it and immediately send a message to the bulbs that are farther back in your nose. And then the bulbs send the messages directly to the limbic system of your brain. So if you're struggling with feeling down or discouraged, just diffuse an oil like wild orange, or there's a blend called Elevation, and it gets right into that area of the brain really fast. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but I do want to tell you that the limbic system is the emotional control center of the brain. If you need support with something you are dealing with emotionally, I can tell you right now, your limbic system is involved. That's why when you smell something, it can trigger a memory. And I want to tell you about a memory that gets triggered for me. I come from a really big family, 13 kids, and I loved it. I'm the one on the couch on the right next to my dad. And whenever I talk about my family, everybody always says, well, I want to see a picture of the whole group. So I include the picture of the whole group. So here we are. I'm on the far left in this one. And on the bottom right is my sister who passed away when she was little. We didn't have a lot back then. And when we went on vacations to visit grandma or aunts or uncles or something, we all piled into our station wagon. And yes, that's a lot of people in one car. I know. And it looked just like this. Only, well, I'm sure we had way more stuff piled on the top because nothing fit on the inside because everyone was in there. I want you to imagine all of this inside of this. And yes, whatever you're imagining right now, that's exactly what it was like. So do you think I had any sympathy when my kids in our minivan would complain that it was crowded? No. So I had to practice motherly patience at that point. So we had the best time on those trips. I remember my older sister would read to us. I remember messing around in the back with my brothers and sisters. And I'm sure that we annoyed my parents. But we would stop for gas and we would all pile out of that car. And can you just imagine that that was a sight to behold all by itself? And I would smell that strong smell of gasoline. Now, gas is not a pleasant smell, But now, years later, every time I smell gasoline, I'm a little kid again on a family vacation, and I feel happy. I love the smell of gasoline, and that's horrible, you guys, because gas is not good for you. So, smell is a very powerful thing. I love diffusing the essential oils in my room at night. I'll use the oils that help support sleep or the immune system, or if I'm struggling with anxious feelings, whatever it is. You can put a diffuser on your desk at work or whatever you need. And I want you to think about those blood slides. That is the kind of support you can get with your emotions too. So the third way you can use essential oils is to take them internally. I only want you to do this if you're using a very high quality oil. And we'll get into that a little bit later too. But look at the side of your bottles, and some of them will say do not ingest. But if you're using really good oils, you can put some drops in your water. A lot of people love to do this with lemon oil because it not only tastes good, but it's also very supportive of the digestive system. It also helps with parasites, by the way. You can simply drip the oil down your throat, which I do if I'm in a hurry. Sometimes I do not have time to walk all the way over to the sink to get a glass of water. So don't do this with hot oils, because if you do, you'll do it once and then you'll never do it again. So the other way you can use it is get an empty gel cap at any health food store, and you just drip the oils into it, put it back together, and swallow it like any normal pill. And oils for the digestive system are great to take this way because it gets right down into your gut. So are essential oils affordable? Let's talk about that just for a minute. The doctor's visit generally costs about $15 to $75. These are average costs. Prescriptions $15 to $50, and I know many of you it's costing you a lot more for your prescriptions. And so total cost would range from $30 to $125, and that's not even counting the wait time for relief. You're talking 24 to 36 hours. That also doesn't count the time it takes to take off work, to go to the doctor, or to be home with a sick child, that kind of thing. But Melaleuca, let's say that you have a child who has discomfort in their ear. What happens is you can use the Melaleuca, put 2 drops behind the ear 3 times a day, and it's amazing the support that you'll see. And the total cost is 48 cents because a bottle this size is about 250 drops. Plus, you're actually using something that is going to help address the underlying cause rather than just band-aiding a symptom. And then, of course, we're all aware of pharmaceuticals. As much as they may be necessary in some cases, they come with a lot of side effects. So you get to avoid the side effects. And I am not saying don't go to the doctor, but essential oils are a great way to get that extra natural support. So whatever you're on, stay on it. Use the essential oils as a complementary support, and then just work really closely with your doctor. Mood and emotions are kind of a tricky thing because you could be having struggles with your mood that started with some other health problem, or sometimes it's the other way around. You struggle with mood and then you start having health problems. So you're likely going to need support in one of these areas too. But in this webinar, we're going to focus on the brain. So I may only mention other systems here and there, but I'll be putting out more webinars that are specific to certain health concerns, and you can be watching for those on teresaharding.com. So mental health, it has become a big concern for so many people. If you're here with me, you know it can totally interfere with your life. It can be debilitating. It can even be crippling. And honestly, it can also be life-threatening. This is a very real thing. I want you to look at this list and see if you've ever felt any of these feelings. Emotion, moodiness, negativity, mood swings, denial. You guys, every one of us has. Do you want to know what the definition for a mental disorder is in medical dictionaries? Quote, a wide range of conditions that affect mood, thinking, and behavior. You guys, if that's the definition, we are all messed up because there isn't one person who doesn't have a mental disorder, okay? So we need to start rethinking mood and disorders, okay? Our emotional chart at any given time can look like this. And you men out there, you're not getting out of this either because you have a hormone cycle too. And depending on where you are in your cycle, this might just be one day for you. Some days I'm awesome. Some days this is my day. But the good news is the essential oils are a great tool to help. So let's try to respect that mental piece of ourselves and try to understand our brains just a little bit better. And don't worry, this is about as technical as we're going to get. I reserve the more technical training for when I'm working with hospitals and doctors and things like that. But there are a few things that if you understand them will help you as you're trying to decide which of the oils you need in order to get that powerful support for yourself. So there are 5 sections of the brain that have the most to do with mood: the limbic system, the cingulate system, basal ganglia, prefrontal cortex, and the temporal lobes. The first 3 of these are part of the limbic system. And remember, the limbic system is the mood control center. So follow along in your workbook and take notes of the oils that you're wanting to try or that look like they might support you. So the limbic system is where your ability to bond is. It's also the area that helps you control your mood. So if you're needing support in your limbic system, you might have mood swings or manic behaviors. You'll also have a hard time being positive, looking at the glass half full. My 3 favorite oils to support this area of the brain are elevation, balance, and serenity. In fact, these 3 oils are my very first go-to oils when I'm working with anyone who has any of the quote titles that you'll find listed for mental disorders. I worked with a man who had been in the military, who had faced a lot of trauma. He was struggling with the after effects of that and was having a really difficult time controlling some of his behaviors. I immediately had him use these 3 oils, and he started experiencing that support right away. I was so grateful, and he was too, actually. I had him apply 2 drops of each oil behind each ear every morning and every night, and then 1 or 2 times throughout the day if he needed it. It was amazing for him. And we'll talk a little bit about these other oils. Lavender is soothing and calming. It's great support for sleep. Patchouli is a good oil for mood. It's also a great choice if you have feelings of extreme sadness or discouragement. And ylang ylang is used to help aid in lifting mood. Now, each of these oils has several uses, so you'll notice some of the same oils coming up again. The second section of the brain is your cingulate system. It's kind of your gear shifter. So it helps you shift attention from one thing to another, and this applies to thoughts and behaviors. So if you're having a hard time exhibiting behaviors that are appropriate for a certain situation, or you find that you're over-focused on something and can't seem to redirect that focus, if you have repeated worries or if you're too frigid, then you are needing to support your cingulate system. One blend that I love for this is In Tune. It is an oil that is already blended for you. It's a combination of all the oils that research has shown are best for supporting focus and clarity. And the other thing I like to do is combine rosemary, sandalwood, and bergamot in a roller bottle like we talked about. Rosemary is really good for memory. Sandalwood is also a memory booster, but it's also relaxing and calming. And it helps support that mental clarity too. And by the way, sandalwood is also used as an aphrodisiac, so that's a nice little addition. Bergamot is great support when you need energy, but interestingly, it's also very calming. And that can be confusing to people, so the way I like to explain it is this. Think of a time when you were really, really happy and you had a lot of energy. You're just really excited, but you also felt very peaceful inside. That's kind of what it helps with. It also helps with stress and sleep, and if you're agitated, then this oil is very soothing. So apply this blend to the insides of your wrists. You can put it on your temples or on the bottoms of your feet and do it every night and morning. I had this one woman whose child was struggling with extreme activity levels and lack of focus. And the very first thing we did was to have her apply In Tune to the bottoms of his feet each morning before he left for school. And she was so excited to share with me how much support she saw in his behaviors at school and at home. And the teacher actually was even calling to say, what are you doing? Because he's a different child. So here's a tip I want you to write down. The general rule is to apply the oils night and morning and then add applications throughout the day as needed. You've kind of been hearing me hint at that, but usually you won't need to apply more than 3 to 5 times a day. Okay. The third system of the brain is the basal ganglia. And this is what helps control your emotions when you aren't in focus mode. when you don't really have a specific project you're needing to gear your energy toward, when you're not in drive mode, if you're needing support here, it might be because you can't seem to get to idle mode where you can just calm down and relax. Or it might be that when you're in idle mode, you can't seem to stay there. Your mood or behaviors keep shifting in and out of that mode. So you might be struggling with feelings of anxiousness or panic. You feel fearful and you want to avoid people. And especially you'd want to avoid conflict for sure. So to support that section of the brain, this first oil, vetiver, I had to put it first. It is my favorite oil for this. One of my really good friends, Jen, will tell you that the oils have changed her life. Her entire life, she's dealt with feelings of anxiousness. And in fact, her feelings were so severe that her doctor told her she was on the highest doses of medication he had ever prescribed for this. And she had a good doctor. When I first taught her how to use the oils for support, it was because she was pregnant and couldn't take her medication. She was really struggling with her feelings of anxiousness. She had excessive energy and other strong emotions. So we used balance, elevation, and serenity, some of my favorites, and she noticed a big difference. But when we added vetiver for her anxious feelings, it was unbelievable. And her wonderful husband said that they cannot live without the oils. And Jen has worked with her doctor and is now off her medication and has been for years. Now, am I telling you to get off your medication? No. Keep working with your doctors and listen to their counsel. But I want you to remember that these oils are a great support for whatever you're already doing. So vetiver oil helps with being calm and tranquil. It's grounding. It's reassuring. A lot of times they use it in trauma situations. It helps with self-awareness. It's also calming and it helps stabilize. It's kind of a nervous system tonic. It helps soothe jitters and hypersensitivity. And it's also a great one for feelings of panic and shock. So you see why I love this oil and why it was so helpful for my friend. And you'll notice that I'm using pictures of the oils that I use. But don't worry if you use a different brand. There are a lot of essential oils out there. And if there's a brand you already love, then you're set. But people always ask me what brand they should use. So I'll help you understand a little later how I made my decision. Okay. Lavender is amazing for stress and restlessness. It's kind of considered a nervous system restorative. It really helps with inner peace. It's good for sleep, for irritability. You can use lavender when you're having feelings of panic or for a nervous stomach and just general nervous tension. Ylang ylang is calming and uplifting. Use it if you're agitated. It will help support cheerfulness. Use it if you need courage or you need to work on being optimistic. If you're having a hard time, use ylang ylang. Frankincense helps when your stress and anxious feelings are chronic, and it also helps support the immune system. A little side note about frankincense. It's a great oil for wrinkles and scars. Wild orange is awesome. It smells amazing. It's probably one of my favorite smells of all the oils. It helps you ease anxious feelings. It's great for tension. It's an immune booster. It's great for circulation as well. Now, the fourth section of your brain is your prefrontal cortex. This is your supervisor. This is the section that is kind of in charge. The list on the slide, you can see some of the things that it helps you control: staying focused, making plans, controlling impulses, making decisions, whether they're good or bad. And I already know, because when I teach, always at this point, someone says, "Oh my goodness, I know someone who needs help with that." So it helps you think of people that you can help. Well, motivate is a favorite oil to support these feelings and behaviors. It's a blend of the oils that have been proven in research for just these types of moods and emotions. So just apply a few drops to the back of your neck or behind your ears, and you'll love how it makes you feel. And you'll notice we have Intune again, frankincense and wild orange again. And I like to mix those last four oils together: Roman chamomile, geranium, frankincense, and wild orange. That combination smells amazing too. So Roman chamomile, what's it good for? Helps with feelings of anxiousness, with deep sadness. It helps support balanced hormones. If you're having trouble sleeping at night, you can spray a little bit on your pillow or rub it on the bottoms of your feet. It's really soothing for people with excessive energy and lack of focus. And it's actually a great support for allergies too. Geranium is amazing for your skin, which is not what we're talking about, but I love it for my skin too. It's also a powerful support for hormones. And I just have to say again, you men out there, this is for you too. It's also really great for sadness and discouragement, and it's used for circulation too. So the fifth section of the brain is the temporal lobes. This is where your memory triggers are, your ability to understand language, being able to recognize people, and this is also the area that has a lot to do with temper control. So if you're having memory or learning problems, or if you're having a difficult time controlling your temper, you'll want to look at supporting this area of your brain. Also watch for mood shifts, like going from anger to lethargy or sadness to elation. Maybe you go from feeling fine to feeling like nobody cares about you, that type of thing. I've got a lot of options for you here. Just take 3 or 4 of these oils and make a blend in a roller bottle. For mood, I really like to apply it behind the ears or on the wrists. And applying it to your temples is great too, but if you do that, just make sure you rub it in so it doesn't drip into your eyes. And if it does get in your eyes, it'll sting, but it won't damage anything. But don't wash it out with water, because oil and water don't mix, and it kind of makes it feel like you're making it worse, although it's not really going to make it worse. Just take a couple of drops of coconut oil and rub it right in your eye. It will soothe it immediately. It's amazing. Okay. Now, rosemary. Rosemary is used for memory. It also helps with hormones. It's great as a digestive aid and even for hair growth. I have a friend who is losing her hair right now because she has other health problems and some thyroid concerns that are pretty serious. And I don't notice her hair coming out, but she does. And it's very scary for her. And rosemary is a great oil for that. Basil is a powerful adaptogen, which means that it aids in your ability to transition from one thing to another, and it helps you adapt to that change. Also, it helps you with stress. Petitgrain is one that a lot of people really love. It's calming and relaxing, and it's also actually a great support for your heart. You can use petitgrain to help calm your anxieties, to support sleep. I like to use it in a bath or as a massage oil, and I also love to use this one in a drink, either with just water or I'll make my own homemade tea. So cypress oil helps release toxins. It helps your cells to release toxins, which can be a powerful support for your emotions. Because when we have toxins built up in our bodies, it makes it much more difficult for our cells to function properly. And then we have a domino effect where other important systems start to shut down, and that includes our emotions. I have a very close friend who struggles with intense mood shifts. She feels so frustrated because she's trying so hard to be a kind and a balanced person. And for years, she could not get it under control. It affected her self-image, her feelings of adequacy. It got to the point where she needed serious support for self-esteem, for self-loathing, and for lack of confidence. She became so down and discouraged that her relationships were suffering, and she started using essential oils. And she was trying to help get them to support her and give her what she needed. And within a month, she came to me very emotional and shared how she had seen so much support that it had affected her life in many positive ways. So I want to tell you just a little bit about peppermint. Peppermint is kind of an all-around oil. It's good for focus. It's used for energy, for headaches, for respiratory. It's also, it supports what you're trying to do when you have pain, digestive aid, and it also actually gives you good breath. It supports the problems with halitosis, which is the formal name for bad breath. It's amazing. Myrrh is calming, relaxing, and it also supports healing. It's amazing. So I want you to look at these scans of healthy brains versus unhealthy brains. I took these brain images from the book I told you about called Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And Dr. Amen, who wrote the book, runs clinics around the country, and he's respected as a practitioner in this field. Now, notice how a healthy brain is so very smooth, and the unhealthy brain has dips and valleys in it. Well, studies have shown that people with a healthy brain are happier, healthier, wealthier, and more successful. And people with an unhealthy brain are sadder, sicker, poorer, and less successful. Do you think when I was struggling with my bout with depression that I was doing very well in my business at that time? No, I wasn't. Now, I want you to notice that these two pictures they're the two pictures of the same brain, but the left picture is when it's at rest and the right picture is when it's concentrating. So you might look at that and think, wow, I better not concentrate because it creates dips and valleys, and that's not good. Well, let me assure you that concentrating is a good thing, but I'm going to illustrate something with this here. I want you to see that this same kind of difference in a brain scan happens when you're thinking positive thoughts or when you're thinking negative things. So you see the side that says at rest? When they take a brain scan of someone thinking positive thoughts, it kind of looks like that. When they take a brain scan of that same person 5 minutes later thinking negative thoughts, it kind of looks like the one on the right. That's how I wanted you to see this. And the same goes for all your emotions. So as you strengthen your brain by learning to discipline your thoughts, the brain actually becomes smoother and smoother. Our brain is like a weight. It's like lifting weights. It's like a muscle. It's not a muscle, but it acts like a muscle. Because what happens is every time you lift that weight, it makes it stronger and stronger. Think about if you took a scan of my arm when I was lifting a weight. It would look different and it would look like it was tight. But if I put the weight down and I never do it again, guess what happens? Nothing. But if I do a little bit of that every day, pretty soon when my arm is at rest, you're going to start to notice a difference in that muscle. That is what happens in your brain. Now, I want you to realize that if you are trying hard, the healthy parts get smoother as you practice positive thoughts and these kinds of behaviors, but the weak parts get weaker if you allow yourself to stop trying. You guys, this is so exciting because what that means is that we can do things to help ourselves. And I don't want to minimize the reality of what you are going through. It is real, and there are things you cannot control. But science is helping us understand that there are things that we can control. And the beautiful thing about the essential oils is that they make it so much easier to make that effort. Now, let me stop here for just a minute and tell you that I know that there are different levels of severity. I get that some of you are at a place where you feel like you can do something about it. And some of you are so severe or you've been dealing with it for so long that it's almost too much to hear someone say you can do something about it. Because you have been told too many times to just get over it, just get out of bed, just do something, or something to that effect. Please know I do get it. And I want to be very sensitive to what you're going through. I am not telling you to just think positive thoughts and you'll get better. That kind of thinking is uninformed. What I am saying is that we can help to affect change. We don't just have to live with it. And to get your hopes up, yes, I want to get your hopes up. I want you to notice these slides that show real brains before and after treatment. Now, the treatment will consist of anything from positive thinking, exercises to aromatherapy, to medications, to counseling. And when I say aromatherapy, this isn't just something that you do on the side. The brain clinics are using essential oils as part of their treatment plans. Now, the before and after pictures on the left, that was someone who was dealing with some mental concerns. And look at the kinds of changes they were able to see after treatment. That alone is amazing. But what's even more powerful is look at the before and after pictures on the right. That is the brain of a schizophrenic. It is hard to find a mental disorder more severe than that. And look at the changes after treatment. I am telling you, you can be empowered, and there are some things you can do. I am pleading with you, do not give up. There is support for you, and the one I'm teaching you about right now, essential oils, is a powerful one. Use the essential oils, but don't neglect the other supports you need either. And I want you to remember that your brain is a beautiful gift. Even when sometimes you feel betrayed by it, no matter where you are on your journey, your brain has a beauty all its own, and it's the only one that's like it. And we, each one of us, has a responsibility to take care of it and to nurture it. Start from wherever you are. And if you need to take baby steps, then we'll take baby steps. You have got this. And if you have a hard time believing, then you rely on my belief until you get some of your own. Oh, I need to take a breath because now we need to talk about recipes. I'm going to give you some of my favorite mood recipe blends, just like I promised. And just because you're on this webinar with me and you stuck it out, I'm going to be sending you an ebook filled with the ones you'll see on the slide, plus a whole bunch more. And I'm giving that to you for free. So when we get to the end, I'll tell you how to request it. So hang in there. We'll get there. We're just about there. I am going to go kind of quickly through these slides because you'll be getting the free digital copy, but I at least want you to be able to see them. So you may want to have the camera on your phone ready to take pictures of them. So to soothe tension or stress, just put a few drops of each of these oils in a diffuser, or you can just pick your favorite 2 or 3. I love doing this when I have a deadline coming up or I'm working on a big project, or if tensions are high in my house. But when tensions are high, you just have to be humble enough to admit that you need it. And sometimes that's the hardest part. So my husband and I have an agreement that and we do it both ways, but if I'm having a hard time, he might notice before I do. He'll say, hey, can I put some of these oils on your feet? And the agreement is that I'm not allowed to get mad. I can lovingly smile at him and say, why, thank you. So practice those behaviors. Now, these oils are a great choice for detox. Adding them to the bath is always a good thing. I know it's hard to find time to take a bath, but it's amazing. And I'll give you a little tip. You can just drip the oils in the bath water if you want, but they don't mix with the water because oil and water don't mix. And that's okay. It'll still work great. But if you mix the oils with a cup of Epsom salt first, it will spread throughout the water. It's awesome. This happy blend is a lot of people's favorite. Just rub Balance, Serenity, and Wild Orange on your wrists or diffuse it in the room. And it smells great too, by the way. Sleep is so important. And I like to use Serenity or lavender, and then I add lemon. I've been able to help a lot of people with this blend. And the research shows that lavender helps you go to sleep, and the citrus oils help you stay asleep. And vetiver and cedarwood, if part of the reason you can't sleep is because you're agitated, add those. Or if you're anxious, that kind of thing. And you'll notice a couple that I added, basil and rosemary, to support adrenals to help your thyroid, because we have a lot of people who struggle with that. The pick me up, this one's really easy. Use this one when you need to feel alert, but you don't want to use caffeine. Just put a few drops on the back of your neck or combine them in a diffuser. And this one smells really good. Now, if your liver and gallbladder are not doing their job properly, that means you are retaining toxins in your body. When that happens, you start to see a domino effect with other parts of the body. And like we talked about before, this can really affect your mood. When I'm working with people with mood concerns, as soon as we start supporting toxin release, we see a big difference. So try rubbing these oils, and especially this endocrine, right over your liver and gallbladder. You're going to love this, you guys. This is your magic sauce to curb sugar cravings. Use 2 or 3 drops 3 times a day. Or if you're really serious about making some changes with your weight, then you're going to want to do 5 drops 5 times a day. Just put it in your water and drink it throughout the day, or you can use a gel cap or drip it right down your throat. And by the way, this is awesome for cellulite. Just rub it on, and I am not telling you how I know that. So for hormone support, Clary, Calm, and Whisper are fabulous oils to help support hormones. And guys, you too. You know by now that I'm not letting you off the hook. It's become kind of a joke that they should have called it Chainsaw instead of Whisper, so the men would know it's for them. I'll use this morning and night, and then I'll add extra applications throughout the day if it's during my cycle. And if I'm feeling stomach upset, I'll just rub it right on my stomach, and the discomfort goes away in about 30 seconds. And little note, by the way, for you men, when you put Whisper on your wrists, oh my goodness, it smells different than on the women. It smells muskier on the men. Just try it, okay? And if you have to be secretive in your closet, do that, but try it, okay? Okay, resources page. This is what I promised you. Write these down because this will save you some money. Oil Life and Aroma Tools are 2 stores that sell most of what you'll need to play with your essential oils. They don't sell essential oils, but they sell everything that goes with it. Roller bottles, spray bottles, carrying cases, all that kind of stuff. Okay, aromaticscience.com. That is a site that has all kinds of medical research on essential oils that they've gathered together in one place. If you're like me, you're going to love this. Doctors love this site also. Modern Essentials book. This is a book I love because it is the most user-friendly book that I know of. It has a section in there that in alphabetical order, it lists ailments. And in the book, they're allowed to use the official medical titles of diseases or disorders. So you just look up whatever health concern you have by name. And in the book, as you look it up and it tells you exactly what oils to use. It just has everything, just about everything you can imagine. And the oils are listed in order of what's best. So the first oil listed is usually your best bet, and so on. Of course, the two books I told you about, The Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple. Maybe I didn't mention that one. That one is amazing, by Chris Stewart. The Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple. If you want to learn more about the oils, get that book. It's a great read, but it's also very big. It's probably like 900 pages. And then Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, of course. Now, I'm not exactly sure why you showed up here today, but I bet I can guess. You're either looking for a change or you want to find a healthier way to support your emotional well-being. Or some people just want to be told what to do and how to do it so you can get going right away. But the obvious question is, how do I make all of this work so I can start seeing results quickly? Okay, you've got some options. You could go the way you've been going and try to figure it out, spend 2 more years reading and researching and trying different protocols, feeling the frustration of being out of control and not being who you want to be. Or you can go the simple and strategic way and finally get the results you want so that you can move on to other things in your life that you'd love to work on. And you can probably guess which way I think you should go. But I would love to invite you to join me in the world of essential oils, because essential oils are the absolute fastest way to get powerful support for mood and emotions naturally. And I'm going to show you some exciting bonuses that I'll give to you for free just for getting your oils through this webinar. Now, let me tell you what you're going to get when you purchase. You're going to get an entire set of the oils you select that will support your mental health in the powerful ways we've been talking about. And I'm going to give you a few package options to make sure you're getting what's best for you. You're going to get 25% off all your oils, starting with your first order, and we'll help you set it up so that your discount gets even bigger with future orders. Depending on where you live in the country, a health consult can cost different amounts, but you're going to get a health consult with one of my specialists, usually $195, and we're going to give that to you for free. You get my cheat sheet, which is a guide that tells you what oils are good for which moods, and that way you'll have something quick and easy to refer to. And to make sure you really do feel supported and guided every step of the way, you'll get lifetime access to my essential oil specialists who are available to answer your questions about the oils and about your particular concern. Now notice, you get the health consult. That's a special 1-hour, very particular thing that we do with you. This is access to members only specialist lifetime so that you can call them with questions. They'll text you back and forth. They're available for you. They'll help you know what oils to use and how you can apply them. They'll guide you in finding the answers you're looking for. And they're also ready to help you with more serious or maybe even private questions that you might have. I'm also going to give you access for free to my members only weekly call where I teach about essential oils and other topics. I bring in guest speakers and we always leave time for questions and answers. You're also going to get access to my members only private Facebook group so you can get on the call or the Facebook group whenever you feel like you need extra help. Now remember, I promised you if you stayed till the very end, I'd tell you about a special bonus. And that special bonus is this. I am going to give you some free mood oils. I'm really excited about this, and I think you'll be glad you stuck it out with me. This is a keychain with these cute little bottles of essential oils. You can throw it in your purse or in your backpack, and we have filled these bottles for you with some of my favorite oils for mood support. You'll see on here some of the names that you heard me mention, and that way you have access to them anytime you need them. And when they're empty, you just refill them. So if you purchase before we're off live today, you will get this extra bonus as well. So that's what you'll get. But what I think is more important is what you're going to create. You are going to take action and empower yourself with tools that will support you. And I know that even the thought of that can be very emotional for some of you who've been dealing with this for a long time. You'll gain a confidence that will allow you to start doing the things you've been putting off. You'll be able to get really clear about your goals, and you'll finally be able to focus on the things that are most important. I'm really serious when I tell you that if you have a brand of oil you love, that is totally fine. I chose to use doTERRA oils, and I'll tell you why. It's because I did a lot of research. I researched a lot of companies. I even have friends and family that work for some of those companies, but that did not make a difference for me. Just because you work there does not make them the best. I had to have real answers. I narrowed it down to 3 companies with the highest quality oils, and then I did more research. I even looked into the scientific testing these companies do, and here are some of the things I learned. doTERRA is certified pure therapeutic grade. What that means is it's verified pure. It's a higher quality than organic. It's free of pesticides and contaminants. And their essential oils are sourced from the area in the world where the plant is indigenous. That means where it's naturally grown. If the plant isn't sourced from where it grows naturally, the oil won't have the right amounts of the right compounds to give you the support you're hoping for. And doTERRA also uses third-party testing to certify the purity and potency of their oils. And one last thing I want to tell you about is how they protect our planet's resources, because to me, this is very important, and it's also kind of moving, that some experiences I've had. So not only do they protect the resources through the growing and the harvesting process, they work directly with the growers around the world to create what's called co-impact sourcing, which means they've cut out the middleman, the brokers who usually make the large profits, and they pay all of that. They don't keep any of it. They pay it directly to the growers to help them create more jobs and more growth for their companies. I've been to Haiti and Bulgaria and other places where I've met with the farmers who live very humbly. I have seen them weeping because of what doTERRA has done to help them. It has changed their lives and the lives of the people in their villages. One village in Haiti now has a water tower in the village where the families can come fill their water buckets. They live in such a remote area that none of the children in this village could attend school because they had to walk an hour each way to go fill their buckets of water for their families. And they would travel back and forth all day while the parents worked in the fields. Now, those children get to go to school. So there are 2 factors here that I want you to remember. doTERRA's oils are a whole step above anything else out there, and doTERRA is the only company I could find that does all of these things. So you're probably curious, what's the investment? Well, here's the deal. You could hire a specialist to help create a plan for you. And the challenge with this is it would likely cost you $500 to $1,000 just to get started. I'm in this field. I know what these things cost. And then your cost goes up from there depending on how often you have them working with you. And then you need to make yourself available at the time that works for your specialist. You might need to take time off work. You might need to get a babysitter. If you find somebody really good, they may not have an office close by. So then you're traveling and taking even more time to get to the support that you need. Or you can take charge of this additional support for yourself. You can get empowered and start taking action now and start seeing that support in a really short period of time. That's why I created this package for you. Your investment is just $995. That includes all the free stuff we've talked about, plus all of these oils that are targeted to mood and emotions. And I'm going to give you 4 different kit options because I really want you to be able to select what you think is going to help you the most. But remember, you only get all the specials and bonuses when you start with one of these kits from this webinar. And when you get into the purchase area, you can add any other oils that you want. So if you saw an oil in the training today that you noticed kept coming up for you, you may want to add that to your order. And you can totally do that. I'll show you how that works. The Home Essentials Kit is $275. The reason this one is so popular is because it has most of the favorite oils that people love. They're oils for immune support, for mood, for digestive system, and several others. Plus, it comes with a diffuser. This is something I see all the time. People will start using the oils, then they start to feel more comfortable with them and kind of get them figured out a little bit. The very next thing they want is a diffuser. So this is a great way to start with one. The Family Essentials kit has all the same oils that are in the Home Essentials kit you just saw, but these bottles are 5 milliliter size instead of 15 mil. So they're smaller bottles. They're a great size for throwing in your bag or your purse. But notice that this kit does not come with a diffuser. So if you really want the diffuser, make sure you select the Home Essentials kit that you saw before this. When you purchase a kit, it sets up your wholesale account, and in order to keep your wholesale pricing, all you have to do is buy one item every year. So it's really simple. And I want you to choose the kit that fits your needs and your budget the best. But I do get a lot of people who really just want to get going. They want all the oils they need. They're ready to go. This kit is exactly what it says. It's all the oils. This gives you all the tools you need for your tool belt. So if you're really serious about starting off with all the support you need and want, then this is the kit you'll want to select. It has every single oil that we talked about in the webinar. So every time you look up a recipe blend for mood, every time you want support with your diffuser, oils you want to put in your diffuser, you'll be able to grab the oils and go because you'll have them. It's $1,825 and you save $311. Notice you do get a diffuser in the kit. You also get a carrying case that really comes in handy, and you also get the coconut oil. Now, if you choose this kit, I know it's a serious investment in your emotional support. So I'm going to give you the Modern Essentials book for free. That's a $25 value. That doesn't even count shipping, because I know that will help you learn how to use your tools. Now, this is only for people who buy this kit. But I'm also going to give something I don't usually give because of time limits. I'm going to personally spend time with you in a free one-on-one 1-hour health consult where we will go over every piece of your health concerns that we can and come up with a customized plan that's just for you. And I'm doing this because I feel like if you're willing to invest in yourself like this, then I better be willing to invest in you too. I really want you to feel empowered and confident, and I want you to feel like you know exactly what to do. In your health consult, we get to go over any health issues, not just essential oils, whatever you want. And I'll send you some information ahead of time so you can be prepared to get the most out of it. Now, remember, that's only if you order this kit. Now, if you order the other kits, remember, you still get a health consult, but it will be with one of my specialists, and they are amazing. So I know not everyone can start with all the oils they want. So there's something you're going to want to know because it will save you a lot of money. If you can't start with all the oils you want today, then we'll set you up with whichever kit you choose. And then one of my specialists will work with you during your free health consult to make a plan for you moving forward. The plan is it's a little bit like getting to set up a payment plan, except there's no obligation. So it's really great and people love it. Most people do it this way. It's kind of like a frequent flyer program. Sorry, I got a little bit behind on the slides. It's called the Loyalty Rewards Program, and the way it works is this. After you get your first kit, you set up your account so that each month you'll get a few more of the oils that you're wanting, usually about $50 to $100. The first 3 months you do this, you're going to get 10% back in free product credits, and you can redeem those anytime you want. That means for every 100 points you buy, you get 10 points back in free product credits. And points are almost always equivalent to dollars. And for the individual oils, they are equivalent. So for example, $1 equals 1 point for the oils. And remember, you're already getting 25% off because you're buying at wholesale. The next 3 months, your free credits go up to 15% back, then to 20. Notice how every 3 months it goes up. So once you reach 1 year, you're getting 30% back in free product credits, in addition to your 25% off. So that's a really big deal. That's over 50% off. So that's a big discount. You can see why I like to show you this. This is exactly how I get mine. And you can start and stop the program anytime you want. Just be sure to work with your specialist to make sure you never lose any of your free points. So if you're ready to sign up, I want you to go to bit.ly/wellness join and save, and you can sign up right away. Now, I want you to know I've got your back. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you're good to go. I know if you do the things we show you, you're going to see significant support. I don't care about the refund. I care about getting big results for you, and I really do mean that. Now, here's a quick review of everything you get if you order from this webinar. 25% off every time you order, starting with your first order. The health consult worth $195. The keychain filled with mood oils. But remember, that's the fast action bonus. So you only get the keychain if you order by the end of the webinar today. Your $35 enrollment fee is waived, the e-booklet of mood recipe blends, and I'm going to give that to you even if you don't order, because I really want you to get the support you need. And I'm going to give you the email where you can request the ebook right before we start the question and answer session. And the extra bonuses you get for ordering today are the cheat sheet, essential oils made easy, the lifetime access to your personal specialist, members only access to our weekly calls, and also to our private Facebook group. Now, let's talk about what happens next. What happens next is you're going to go to bit.ly /wellness join and save. And because you're setting up a wholesale account, there are a few steps. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. You're going to see this page right here. Then you're going to scroll down to the bottom and click the button that says join. It will take you to this page, and the language and country will already be selected. So just click continue. Then you're going to select wholesale customer. And once you do that, then you're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page and click continue. And here you'll fill out your information. You only get wholesale pricing after you sign up for it. So you will give your information first, and then you get to select your kit. Otherwise, you'd have to pay retail, and I'm making sure that you don't. Now, this part is important, so make sure you see what I'm about to show you. When you scroll down to the bottom of this information page, it will look like this. In the red circle, you'll see 2 cells that are already populated with the numbers you want in there. And of course, there's no red circle. That's just on my slide, because that is the number that allows me to track you so I can give you all the free bonuses that we've promised you in this webinar. So leave those the way they are, finish this page, and click continue. Now you're at the final step, which is the fun part, because this is where you get to pick your kit. Now remember, you must choose one of the kits from the webinar to get all of the free bonuses. You can scroll right and left on this, and you'll see the different kits. Once you do that, you're going to click on whatever kit is best for you. And then you're going to get to the order form. And that's your very final step. So you're going to fill out the order form, and here's where you're going to add any extra oils that you want. You'll get an email immediately welcoming you into the program with your account information. Okay, so now what I'd love to do is answer some questions that you may have about what I've just taught you here. And I want to give you the email that I promised. I'm going to give you the email I promised you to get your free ebook of recipe blends for mood and emotional support. So email me at info@teresaharding.com. and we'll send that to you for free, whether you buy or not. And we'll just spend a little bit of time right now answering questions. And remember, if you buy before we're off with this timer countdown, then you get all that stuff for free, including those free oils in the keychain. So I want to introduce you to my amazing business manager / everything. I don't even know what to call you. Her name is Chelsea, and she is loyal. She has integrity. She takes care of everything for me. I could not do this without her. And she's the one who's been answering your questions on the side and helping you with your comments. And so I want to invite Chelsea in to help me with the questions. She's been gathering some questions that you guys have been putting on there so that I can answer these at the end here.
Well, thank you, Teresa. So the first question we have is from Daniel, and he asked, what oils did you use for your chronic migraines and bronchitis?
Oh my goodness. So I'll do migraines first. Frankincense, peppermint, and wintergreen. I love those oils. Now, I told you normal dose is 2 to 3 drops. For this, I call this the powerhouse for headaches and migraines. I don't care what's causing the headache or the migraine. So I want you to take, you're going to use 8 drops of each, but you don't usually have to use it very often. But you're going to take 2 drops of each oil and put them behind each ear. So that's a total of 4 drops, right? And rub them in. And then the last 4 drops of each oil are going to go at the base of your brain stem. So what I want you to do is put your hand up on your neck, on the back of your neck back there. And I want you to then scoot your hand up and feel the little hole or the indentation. I shouldn't call it a hole. That sounds scary. The indentation up at the top of your neck. That is the base of your brain stem. Rub it in there. And that is amazing. Now, there's an oil that's called past tense that a lot of people love for headaches and migraines. And it is awesome. But And I would say probably 99% of people swear by that oil and feel like it gives them all the support they need. But if you feel like you need any more support, those three oils are the powerhouse: frankincense, peppermint, wintergreen, and use it just like I said. If you wait about 15 minutes, so usually you can wait a half hour, but I'm impatient. So in about 15 minutes, if you feel like you need more support, apply it again. And I've never had to apply it more than 3 to 4 times. Usually I just need to do it one time. So respiratory. Respiratory is a big one because my weak spot used to be my respiratory system. And maybe it still is. I just don't have problems like I used to since the essential oils have been helping support that. So my favorite oils for that there's one called Breathe, and it is powerful. It has all the essential oils that are known through research to help support that. But I often will add peppermint. Even though peppermint is in Breathe, sometimes you add an extra oil that's already in there and it gives it that extra oomph. So usually I just need Breathe. But if I feel like I need a little extra, I'll add peppermint. And when I'm starting to feel something coming on, I will use Melaleuca and On Guard also, because Melaleuca is really supportive for ear discomfort. On Guard is really supportive of the immune system. And sometimes you don't really know what's coming on and you're not sure, but I'll use those together. And more recently, I've learned about two amazing oils, and I've actually been doing trainings about these because they're so amazing. Arborvitae and lime. Lime is very supportive of the immune system, and arborvitae is a powerful support for the respiratory system. So I usually have never had to use any more than the ones I told you at first. But just recently, this horrible respiratory thing that people have been getting this past winter, and it lasts forever, and then people have a cough that goes on for weeks. That involuntary cough I had for a while, and one of the top doctors in the field of essential oils, I'm lucky enough to get to talk to him sometimes. He taught me about arborvitae and lime, and I started using those. Unbelievable support. So that one's great.
Perfect. And then we have a question from Kristen that says, how many drops of oil do you use in a diffuser, and how do you decide which oils to choose?
Okay, that's a good question, and it really depends on the size of the room. So which oils you choose, hopefully you have enough notes that you can refer to some of the things that we talked about, because that will help you decide which oil. And if you're not sure, I would absolutely recommend getting that book that we talked about, Modern Essentials, because you can look it up and it will tell you for whatever you're dealing with at the moment. But as to how many drops, usually in a normal size bedroom, I would use about 3 to 4 drops. If I want it to be really strong, I might use 6. Okay, and those are diffusers that you add water to. You put water in it and then you drip the oils in. There are diffusers that you just screw the bottle on and you can turn it up a higher output or less output. So, and you can go a lot by smell. If you can't smell it, you're probably not getting enough support. If you can smell it a little bit, you're getting a little support. You're getting support. If you can smell it a lot, you're getting a lot of support. So if you have someone who is coming down with something in your home, that might be a good time to turn it up a little bit bigger. Now, in my area where my kitchen and my family room and my dining room are all open to each other, it's bigger. So I could either have 2 diffusers on either side of the room, but they're not cheap. So you could take one diffuser and turn it up higher, or if you have a diffuser that you add it to the water, I would do anywhere between 6 to 10 drops, but then, watch for that smell. Yeah, listen to me, watch for the smell. But you know what I mean.
Okay, we have Carol who said, how do you apply Melaleuca for ear discomfort?
That's a great question. And there are a few different ways you can do this. What most people love to do is they take a cotton ball and drip a few drops of essential oil on the cotton ball and then stick that side of the ball inside your ear so the fumes get down into your ear. You don't ever want to drop essential oils into the orifices of your body. Your mouth is okay, but not your nose, your ears. It seems like there's one more. But anyway, you don't go there. Oh, your eyes. Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea. She has heard this I don't know how many times. So you don't drip the oils down. That's not good. But that the fumes, that is the equivalent of breathing it through a diffuser, but for your ears. So that's a great way to do it. You can apply it behind the ears. But one thing I like to do sometimes because I don't think Melaleuca smells good. In fact, I think it stinks, okay? And I've always felt like I do not want to be the oil lady that everybody thinks smells like essential oils. So I think I've done a pretty darn good job. If I'm really sick, then I don't care. I'm home and I just lather up. But that's another reason I'll take it internally. And I've noticed that with ear discomfort, what happens is that the cotton ball works great. But another thing that works equally as well is if I drip a couple of drops of the Melaleuca down my throat and try to make sure it hits that side of my throat where I can feel that itchiness for the ear discomfort. And seriously, it's amazing. Try that. You're going to love it. It tastes horrible. It's a good trick to play on a child. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, this is a really fun one. What's your top personal favorite oils and why?
Oh, so it started out my top favorite was On Guard. On Guard, hands down, because it is so powerful for the immune system. And any times I was coming down with something, I couldn't believe the support I got. My attitude of what healthy meant completely changed. I used to think that being healthy meant that, you're not really on any regular medications. You're pretty fine, but you get sick sometimes. And whenever things come around, sometimes you get it. Now I feel like I should not have to be sick ever. So I've kind of gotten a little bit of attitude about it because On Guard is such a great support. But so it used to be I would travel or I would go places and I'd forget some of my oils sometimes, but I never forgot On Guard. Then I got to the point where there were 3 or 4 or 5 that I never forgot. And now you should see me travel. Now they're in smaller bottles, so it's just a little carrying case, not huge, but it has about, what would you say, Chelsea?
It's hard to count.
I think I have about 15 or 18 oils in that I can't live without. And I'll list some of them for you. As you can imagine, frankincense, peppermint, and wintergreen. I don't have to use those as often anymore. I noticed that the headache and migraine thing does not come up hardly ever anymore. But that's a nice comfort. It's consoling to have them. Lemon is great. When I'm traveling internationally to places where maybe the water isn't clean, lemon is a great one because it helps support keeping the water clean, let's put it that way, as we're compliant, but it's also really powerful support for parasites. And in some places I go, that can be a concern. I try to drink the bottled water, but it doesn't always, sometimes you might get something at a restaurant that may not be what you think it is or something like that. So those are great. I definitely take the digestive oils with me. Digest Zen is one that I can't live without, and balance, as you can imagine. I always like to have balance, elevation, and serenity with me. Another one is lavender. That's a really great support for sleep. And sometimes when I'm traveling internationally, then I have jet lag. So it helps me to get the rest that I need. So normally I've never had a problem with sleeping, but I know that a lot of people who need mood support, that is a big issue. So just know that those are some great oils to use.
Okay, I really love this question, so I'm going to read it verbatim. Shauna said, I would like a lot of these oils, but which one should I start with for discouragement? I just feel like a piece of me is missing. I think you called it deep sadness.
Oh, thank you, Shauna, for being so raw about that, because that's not always easy. So I'm grateful for that question. And I will just tell you, I want you to start with balance, elevation, and serenity. I'm telling you, any of these things that we've talked about, start with balance, elevation, and serenity. And I would put 2 to 3 drops of each behind each ear. It is amazing, powerful support. And then the other ones that I would want you to include are ones that come in that mood kit. And those would be, it's hard to choose, but for this specific, what you're talking about, motivate, cheer, peace, and then if you have the kit and you have the extras, I would add passion and then console if you need it. Those oils are truly awesome. I just was working with a mom who is really working hard to sometimes let herself have time away from her baby because that's really hard for her. She feels feelings of anxiousness when that happens. And we put I grabbed let me think, which one did I use? I used the Motivate. I used the Motivate and the Console. And I put a couple of drops of each of those on the backs of her ankles. And she started feeling different right away. It started to support her. So I just get very tender when you guys talk about these things because I work with people all the time who are dealing with these things. So thank you for that question. I would say the best thing for you is to get the mood kit, and that's a kind of a great value. And then add the balance, elevation, and serenity when you go in to make your order.
Okay, Brittany, she said, why do some people say it isn't safe to use essential oils internally?
Ooh, that's a really big question, and you'll find information about that all over the internet. But I'll put it in a nutshell, and it's this: um, people say that there are three different schools of thought. They'll say there's German, French, and British, and actually, some people say there are only two, the French and British, because the German is part of the British. There are all these different attitudes about it, but just realize there weren't really schools of thought. That's not what it was like. It wasn't till the year 2000 that there was actually kind of a famous doctor who gave a speech, and it was an amazing speech, but he happened to mention the idea of schools of thought. So people started using that term. So there were never schools of thought, but people often misunderstand. And what people will have articles all over the internet that say that these are all these, I'll say the two, the French and the British, that they're at odds with each other and they disagree. And that's actually not true. That was never how it was. Some of the doctors who worked in the British, quote, school of thought were some of the same doctors that worked with doctors in the French school of thought. They worked together and learned from each other. It was amazing. But the British school of thought came about because it was a school that was for beauty, skin, and esthetician type things. So they were a lower quality oil. They didn't need to be higher quality because it was for other things. And so, of course, you wouldn't take those internally. Those were not oils that were high enough quality. But the French school of thought was not for aesthetics and for beauty. It was for a medical hospital. They were trying to they were using oils to help with medical issues. So they were using higher quality oils. All of their testing is higher quality, using higher quality oils. So you'll read in books that people will say you can't take oils internally, and they'll cite research. But you need to understand all that's very legitimate. But that research that's done that says don't use oils internally is done with the lower quality oils. And as you can understand why some books will say you can take it internally. So it's actually not an argument against each other. It's that people aren't sharing the whole story. Okay. So I want you to remember that because it's important. And I want you to know that if you're using a high quality oil, they're safe to take internally. And I just want to thank you guys for being here. And I hope that you learned some things that will help you here today. So remember, I'm giving you, this is kind of your last chance to go and purchase your kit. If you do that right now, as we're ending this, then you'll still get the free keychain with the mood oils plus all the free stuff we talked about. So I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to email me to get your free recipe blend booklet. So have a great day.